NC renewals are coming fast, and here's the thing that most MSPs never talk about. Many SMBs are still sitting on business standard licensing, and when that renewal hits, they get locked into whatever they chose a year ago, even if that choice doesn't reflect how their business works today or how the security landscape has shifted. So in today's episode, I'm going to show you how to talk to customers about upgrading to Business Premium, why Business Standard leaves real business gaps, how to package Business Premium in 5 business-focused pillars, and the exact way to answer the #1 objection every MSP hears. And be sure to stay till the end because I'll give you bonus advice for those clients looking to dip their toes into AI as well. Meet Brightline Architects, a 22-person architecture firm running everything inside Microsoft 365. They've got Business Standard, Basic MFA, no conditional access, no device trust, employees working from personal laptops, and like most SMBs, they assume MFA equals security. One day, one of their users gets an email message that looks like it's coming from SharePoint that says updated project files available. The user clicks on that link to go to the Microsoft login page. They type in their password. They get a green approved check for the MFA that they fulfilled. Everything looks normal, right? Except it wasn't Microsoft. It was an attacker's proxy site. But that stolen token, the attacker compromised the user and was able to access their email box and all their files and folders without having to sign in themselves. After they gained that access, they didn't strike immediately. They studied conversations. They watched how the company communicated. Then they waited for the perfect moment. They monitored an email chain here with an outside vendor, and they were posing as this project manager that they compromised, and they replied to the existing thread, getting them to update their wire details. The vendor that they wired was $18,000 straight into the attacker's bank account because the message itself looked like it was coming from the legitimate mailbox in the real conversation thread. Here's the part that no one tells SMBs. They were saving money by being on Business Standard versus Business Premium, around $210, $209 per month, but that decision ended up costing them $18,000 for this one incident. Now, most MSPs pitch Business Premium with feature lists, conditional access, Intune, Defender, DLP, blah, blah, blah. Business owners don't really buy features. They buy business outcomes, they buy alignment, they buy risk reduction, and they buy client trust. So let's walk through some of the 5 different business areas you should cover in these renewal conversations that relate back to business outcomes.
So I'll link this deck here for you guys to be able to leverage, but effectively it was built by Microsoft, but I like to peel back and kind of reorganize it to showcase some of the business levers you try to pull in these conversations. This first slide, though, I'd like to share because I like to resonate with the business that I'm talking to around some of the objections that they might have and the length of the conversation. That might be around, we're too small to get targeted, or the cost is a really big barrier to us. We don't want to start paying $11 more per user per month for this solution. We don't see the upside to that. And so what I like to do is start to bring in these factors as far as statistics, or just kind of bring those objections to the forefront and handling them before we even get down to that conversation. So you can see here, we've got the statistic around 82% of ransomware, targeting small business. So kind of alleviating some of the consideration around we're too small to be targeted, and acknowledging, right, that we're all trying to cut costs, especially in this economic climate that we're in. We want to offer solutions here that can consolidate your tool set costs, but also provide those efficiencies. But we also want to position that against the risk that you might have, as part of those conversations as well too. So within here, we talk about this and we talk about some of those challenges here. One of the first things I always like to bring up is unauthorized access to work. If somebody's on Business Standard, it's unlikely that they're restricted from accessing corporate data on their personal laptop is a really great example. Did you know that your users can access from your personal laptop, meaning a laptop that isn't protected, it's under no corporate management. A user can download sensitive files to it and they could be potentially compromised. They could have a device that hasn't been patched in months. There's so much risk with that. In addition to being able to sign in from any country, if a user gets compromised, we can actually prevent and stop the attack chain in a lot of these cases with a lot of these protections we're looking to put into place. So when we talk about secure access to work data, we're talking about leveraging a lot of the features that are in Business Premium, particularly, conditional access being an advancement into traditional MFA so that we can make sure that users in our organization are accessing their work data from compliant networks, from compliant locations, from compliant devices as part of this versus they can just do it and access it from anywhere in the world. And usually that's a big pain point here that we get into. But as we piggyback off that and move into some of the other factors, and we move into client data protection, as an example, another great thing that a lot of business owners can relate to is we want to work on our mobile device. We want our workforce to be able to work on them, but we also know that that's inherently insecure as well too, because we don't know what those phones, have on them. They could be jailbroken, they could get lost or stolen and have access into, certain files or folders that are very sensitive to the organization. And with Business Premium, we get access into Intune, which does allow us to start to be able to protect data at the application layer without needing to enroll those devices fully under management, taking that pain point away from users having a lot of objections around getting those devices into a full management. They think you're spying on them, as IT. They think you can read their text messages and see their photos. But we want to alleviate that concern again, handle those objections, but make sure we get into some of the protections that we get into place. As we expand off that data concept, we also can have a lot of concerns around either insider threats, risky users, potentially malicious users leaving the organization, but also accidental data breaches. And when I say that, that could be that they've plugged in a USB device and put a bunch of data on it because they wanted to take it somewhere else, which could lead to confidential data leaks. But also they could be downloading it locally to those personal devices. They don't think that that's a bad thing, but it does put the business at risk if that device is compromised as part of that. So a lot of us handle PII in one form or fashion. Whether or not you're a regulated industry like healthcare or finance, you're dealing with a lot of your customer data, which bare minimum, you likely have access into certain personal information like their addresses and, credit card information, things like that. If you're taking in application data, you often have more sensitive factors that come into place, even if you're not, fully in that regulated space. So with Business Premium, we get a ton of data governance and data protection features that you can begin to inject into, traditionally in SMB, a very disorganized data set, right? And this is where we can stop insider threats, we can stop the accidental data loss, and prevent those sensitive data from going outside of our control and helping us go through basic things like audits, right? Even a SOC 2 audit as an example to show that not only, do we have correct policies in place, but we have the posture and enforcement to make sure that this doesn't actually happen within the organization, meaning if somebody tries to send, a sensitive document to another user or external to the organization, if it's got one of these protections in place, we can actually prevent that from happening altogether. Now, as we move into some more of the advanced email security features here, one of the things that we see most frequently in today's attack landscape is a lot of users still being phished in emails and getting their identity compromised because of that, or more commonly, going through a business email compromise incident where they're actually getting socially engineered to push wire information or change wire information to a fraudulent bank account, right? And losing money that way. And this is talking about, how 1 in every 4 SMEs experience a security breach as part of this. So just reinforcing again that you're much in focus here for getting attacked. And most MSPs that I talk to have gone through some type of man-in-the-middle phishing incident or phishing incident in general. And if you don't have these additional protections, we may not be able to basically break the attack chain. If a user's compromised, they could inadvertently within the next week, within the next 24 hours, get compromised to the state where they're wiring that money outside the organization or compromising other vendors within your ecosystem. And so with this, we want to put those additional protections in place to basically automate the event from even happening, prevent the email from even coming through. But also if it does come through, we have a defense in depth approach to go ahead and say, if they click on that link, we're going to sandbox it, make sure it's not malicious before taking them to that web page, right? As an example, and so on and so forth. And so there's a lot of AI and machine learning going on with these solutions, but there's a lot more protections that you would naturally get versus just having the basic Exchange Online protection that you have with Business Standard. And we talked about this, 80% of SMPs list ransomware as one of their top concerns. And this is something outside of the phishing attempts that's, a huge concern when we talk about those, devices getting compromised through malicious executables, payloads, could be emails, but it could also be through applications that are malicious in nature that employees are trying to install. It could be because, like we talked about in the beginning, they are accessing it on an unprotected device in general, right? Because you're not actually able to lock that down even further. So with this, with Business Premium, they've got this great statistic here that's around, 94% increase in the average cost of downtime associated with incidents in 2020, but it's only increased since then as far as, the actual, capabilities of locking that down and breaking the attack chain. And you get Defender for Business, which is something that, is providing you definite endpoint protection on that device. And, you have concepts such as AI automatic attack disruption, which can actually automate without any human being involved, breaking down and stopping that attack chain so the attacker can't move any further. So big focus area, as you'll see as we go throughout these slides, is, hey, we can only work so fast, when these incidents do occur. And if you were going through, a bank robbery, right, as an example, as a bank or a casino, right, as an example of that, you'd want to have the quickest response that you could to stop that and to avoid any type of financial loss. And the same thing is true here. Think of your data as being that vault and the attackers wanting to get to that data. So we want to have the automated protection so we don't have to have a human such as us, being the first line of defense in all those cases. We want the technology to handle that for us. And then we'll come in as an overlay to make sure that everything was done appropriately, have an incident response, do a postmortem, everything like that to improve moving forward. And so the final section here is really around addressing the pricing concerns and thinking about TCO, total cost of ownership. I think is the big focus area here, because we could certainly look at the productivity lens of tool overlap, where with Business Premium you get, full productivity suite of chat, email, communications as a service with meetings and all of that, versus having and bolting in third-party tools like Zoom or Slack as an example. Some people are really, bought into Zoom and Slack though. So that's more of a conversation of like, wait, we weren't going to give those things up. But it's more so focusing in on a lot of the third-party security tools you might be layering on top of business standards, such as an EDR tool or an email protection tool, an AV tool, even MDM. Data protection itself as a tool is generally not something that's overly purchased or subscribed, but you just don't have any protections in SMB, and we can start to introduce those here to protect sensitive data. And that comes into a lot of focus here as we begin to look at more of an AI era where data is very much a focal point of both, positives, productivity, but cons in the sense of how much more at risk you are with the data that's in your organization. And so as we talk about TCO, this is really just kind of a side-by-side comparison of a lot of the third-party tools that you could be using, to be overlaying into business standard today, where you really have a lot of consolidation and consideration for actually cost savings by moving into Business Premium. And it's all integrated. You also reduce the complexity of operations around, invoicing, accounts payable, collections across all those vendors, and the management of all the users across all those vendors. So kind of ripples in the sense of the cost that it would have collectively as an organization. And this is fulfilling all of that, kind of into that Business Premium motion. So lastly, guys, here as a bonus, obviously AI is a big focal point here of a lot of our conversations. A lot of customers are coming to us and asking, how do I get started? Can I start leveraging Copilot? Things like that. This is a great time to start talking about that in those NCE renewal conversations. Microsoft pairs Copilot, which is their AI solution, natively with 365 to integrate into your email, your Microsoft 365 apps. So it's in a lot of places, a lot of people want to start there because it has rich contextual information about your work data without having to fork that off into a third-party system where you start getting into the hairiness of, risk. When you talk to any organization, though, you can naturally say, hey, you can assume that your employees are pasting or copying and pasting sensitive data into ChatGPT, right? Into other AI models without your purview, without understanding if that's sensitive data or customer data. So this might be a great way to start getting AI adoption. And it works naturally here, within Business Premium as an example where it respects all the native solutions we're talking about for data protection, like the sensitivity of that data, as well as the levels of access, that somebody would have to that data within the, the environment. I'm not going to go through a full in-depth conversation around this, but I think it's interesting to bring up, and more so because most recently at Ignite, Microsoft did announce a Copilot business promotional offer here, where they have a new Copilot business SKU, but more succinctly here, they also have a bundle that you can purchase, and between the first quarter of next year, as in now till March, you can actually offer it for up to 25% off if you were to upgrade here, and that's where I'm showcasing this right here. Business premium, it's $32. So they're bumping up from a business standard, right? As an example there, that $12.50 to $32. So that's a much higher bump, but you're also getting Copilot built in, and you're getting this pretty good discount here for your first year. As part of that, you could still just bump them from business standard to premium as an example. But this is something that if they're interested, now might be the best opportunity to try to get into that upsell. Concession here being, again, just move back to business premium, right, as an example, if they don't want to take on that type of cost or they're not ready to do that yet. You could also do it, bare minimum, you have to do 10 employees. You could start with 10 and have the rest of everybody else on business premium to offer them a bridge to understand if Copilot is going to be enough ROI for their organization.
Now that we've gone through some of the top business cases, let's also cover some of the top objections that I hear in these client conversations you have as an MSP. The first one here might be around, I thought you were already securing this for me. And there's two ways you want to respond here. One of which is that we absolutely protect your environment to the fullest extent that your current licensing allows, but Microsoft 365 standard doesn't come with the security controls we need to fully defend you against today's threats. The first line affirms trust in your services, and the second line shifts the responsibility to the product limitations, not your service, or positioning you as that advisor making recommendations. You likely also want to follow up with some type of analogy here that allow you to articulate the vision and also the product value a little bit better. Think of it like having a home security system. We monitor the cameras, the alarms, and the locks, but that standard package doesn't include things like motion sensors or reinforced doors. If the equipment isn't there, we can't turn it on. We're too small to be targeted. It's something we hear a lot with SMBs. Rebuttal here, you can actually bring some statistical data to show that 43% of all cyber attacks actually target SMBs, and 1 out of 3 SMBs was actually compromised in a recent study by Microsoft. Next one here, we already have MFA. Why do we need additional protections? MFA without conditional access still allows logins from any country, any personal device, and any risky sign-in. This is something where we need to apply additional protections and also control the levels of access at a more granular layer. We don't have sensitive data. We're not a hospital. We don't have PII in that sense that we really have to worry about. Rebuttal here is really focusing in on their internal data. Well, do you have payroll information in files? Do you have customer invoices? Do you have employee PII or financials? If someone else shouldn't have it, it's sensitive. We've never been breached. This is kind of positioning back to say that you've never had a car accident, so you don't really need airbags, is the analogy I kind of like to use there. Think of this as more of an insurance layer that you're applying to your organization. Business standard has worked fine so far. This is where I really like to position that the security landscape's ever moving. Threats evolve monthly. Business standard hasn't changed much in a few years. Business premium, on the other hand, has added a ton of great security functionality for the baselines that you can deploy. It costs too much. And this is really when you're going to get into one of the most biggest objection statements here. It's like, hey, we don't want to pay $11 more per user. But you really want to position this in that risk conversation where you talk about a single incident costing thousands of dollars. So think of this more as this insurance policy. Go back to that example of the additional $200 per month to save out on paying an $18,000 incident. That's just financial in nature of the wire that was sent, not to mention all the indirect brand reputation and potential other risks that it caused to your business. So if you're an MSP, stop pitching business premium as a SKU and start positioning it as a risk reduction. So here's your mission debrief. Workforce flexibility with control, true ownership of business data, inbox level financial protections, built-in resilience and rapid recovery, and tool set consolidation, which allows you to have lower cost and higher security. If your customers are about to renew their NCE subscription, this is the perfect moment to reset the conversation, not around features, but around business alignment. Because the attackers have evolved, the workplace has evolved, and the license needs to evolve too. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.